did you see what they did? Like, really? What were they thinking? Like, since September 11th, when they did their first live video, I thought it was like the strangest thing in the world to do. Like, why? And they aired out their grievances. That's fine, air out your grievances, but they were demanding Min Hee-jin to come back as CEO, which she can't come back as CEO because she did some things that she wasn't supposed to do, and they've decided to vote her out of the shareholders uh section, or whatever you call it, and vote her out and then since she was voted out, she can't be CEO, because in Korea how it works, you have to have a shareholder place in order to be a CEO of the company, right? So she was vetoed out a couple months before she had to renew, and so she had to leave. She had to like not be. She couldn't be CEO no more. So they came onto live and said that we want our CEO back. That was one of the demands. The first demand, and also they Honey talked about how she was mistreated. From there, they talked about they have no trust. They don't feel like they can trust anyone. No one's there for them. Like da 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 da. That part I felt bad for her, because like, okay, yeah, you need to have someone around you trust, but the CEO is like someone you trust them to an extent, but at the end of the day, they have to take care of business, of like financial issues. They shouldn't be able to they're not there to take care of anything else except for financial value, and to make sure that whoever is the managing the team, the groups themselves, is doing their job, basically, for first and foremost, right? Though how the CEO of Adore at that time, who was Min Hee-jin before she got vetoed, she was doing a lot. It seemed like she was doing a lot more than just managing the company. It's like she was managing the group themselves. She was managing their music videos and all this and so forth and all their other contracts as well, for like their I guess for like the brand deals. But also at the same time, those brand deals had to be go through like a certain part where it's like, okay, you the a yay or nay situation, where it's like, okay, you take it to like, okay, here's a brand that we want, can we get this? And you have to go through Hybe to get to that part, and they're like, oh yeah, you can get this, like there it is. uh so they got a lot of good brand deals in NewJeans from Hybe. Actually, they're the only girl group in Hybe that has had it the best out of all the girl groups, and all the other groups they have in Hybe as well. They've had the best like things so far. The best living situation. They have the best like. Did you know these girls take vacations like in between comebacks? I didn't even know. I found out about that recently. I found out about that recently. I was like, wait, what? Out of all the K-pop groups I've ever come across, none of them take vacations as much as these girls have done in the last 2 to 3 years that they 2 years they've been a group, and they take so many vacations. And within the first year they have such, or by the second year or first year of debut, they have such nice apartments that are worth more than the apartments BTS first started in, or any K-pop group has first started in their first year. Like, usually it's a struggle to get all that, but they got everything handed to them from Hybe. But yet they say Hybe didn't do that. That was all Min Hee-jin. Oh, thank you, Min Hee-jin. Where do you think she has money from? Hmm? Did this come out of nowhere? Because it didn't. Because Hybe has to fund all that stuff. Because Hybe basically is here. You have the subsidiaries down here. So Hybe distributes all the money down. Okay, so the money goes to the companies, and they go up, then come back down for even distribution. How, if I'm getting that correct, then that's how it works. Because I remember something they showed a while back where it says, oh well, how this is how Hybe makes most of their money. Big Hit has BTS, and they have TXT. So, but BTS is mostly makes the most money in their company. And then TXT makes not good, decent amount of money, right? But then you have 17, which is Pledis. So these are two Big Hit, right? Then Pledis Entertainment what is 17, and then unfortunately, currently Formus 9 has recently didn't renew the contract, so that's there. But mostly 17 is like BTS, 17, TXT, and I think NewJeans was the fourth one that made the most money. But compared to the first three groups, this, like, literally, they didn't make nearly as enough as the first three groups. Like, it was like literally, I think only 5 or 3% of their money was made. I have to look at that again because it was okay, but it wasn't amounted to the same as BTS or 17 and how much money they were making in general, you know? And they had way more. And mind you, BTS is currently in the military, so they're making money even though they're in the military. Still, so when you think of it, military makes, and they still make so much money. Then you have NewJeans, not a military, but decent amount of money, but it's nowhere in comparison to how much BTS is bringing in, and how much 17 is bringing in to the company, right? I wanted to say that in general. Okay, so let's jump back into like the NewJeans thing. So after the first live in September 11, right? They did something else. Oh, they gave an ultimatum to the company as well. Like within, they're like, oh, you haven't like they I think they gave them either 14-day or 30-day ultimatum to fix the situation. And so within that time period, they went through the videos of when. Okay, so Honey made a claim. Let's get this straight. Honey, I don't think they already talked about it, but Honey's claim was that she was bullied, or says she was told to be ignored, and she felt bad, right, about it. And then, well, she felt bad and complained. And then she said, well, they didn't do their job properly. They didn't. She said basically they didn't do. Basically, Honey said that, oh, they didn't. In her kind of the way that they didn't believe her, and that they didn't call her a liar. She's like, oh, like, they didn't do their job. They didn't help me. Like, when I told them, like, da. But though, backtrack, they did. They went, when they first found out about it, they went to the video archives, mind you, and went through the archives and tried to find a video that Honey was talking about. They found one video, but it didn't show what was going on. And they saved that part of the video that was as close to what Honey's was talking about in the situation, right? Just that one piece. Though there is a law in Korea that says video footage if or CCTV video footage is not kept over 30 days. So mind you, depending on the day that it happened, and if she had told the date of when it happened and the exact date, as they could have found it right away. But she waited, I think, literally a month and a half later to tell what happened. And so when they went back to Scrabble to look through, like, to find a video, it was they just found one that was closest to the timeline that she was talking about. And there wasn't really nothing in the video. It was like a 10-second video. There was no audio because most CCTVs in Korea don't have audio. They just have recording. They just record everything, and that's pretty much it. So it was just a recording of what happened. But it wasn't like what she was talking about when they were going through the video. It was just basically a greeting. That was it. Just a greeting. Nothing else. Nothing foremost. And then yet they keep saying, oh, ignore. And then also another, well, yeah, so that's actually that's the second time they said someone ignore them. The first time they said someone ignore them was Bang PD, Chaman Bang. They said that, oh, well, he ignored him. I'm like, he's a CEO. Like, I mean, no, he's a chairman. He doesn't have to respond to everybody. He has bigger things to do than respond to everybody. You know, if anything, just like know that you said hi to him. Like, he doesn't have to say hi back or acknowledge you. And of all the shows of all the Asian shows I've seen, like, They don't really have to acknowledge. I've seen the lot of CEOs just walk by people who just like acknowledge them only. Because at least as long as they acknowledge the person, it's fine. Because the CEO doesn't have, the person who's their boss does not have to acknowledge him at all, right? It's fine. Like even in the workplace, you don't have, like, unless they acknowledge you, like you did a good job, then that's good. But if they're not gonna say anything, it's cool. Just keep it pushing, right? Just keep it pushing. Just keep walking. But no, they made a big stink about that to NewJeans, and she made a stink about that later on in one of her press conferences too. So keep getting sidetracked, but I'm trying to stick on time. Just stay on target, but it's hard. Okay. Okay, so after that, they did that video. Then there came the freaking what's it called? Where they went to National Assembly. Honey went to National Assembly, and she was so rude at the National Assembly. I was like, what did she do? And it's not even funny. It's because like she did this in front of a lot of cameras was there, because it wasn't a closed room, the National Assembly, and it wasn't like a room where it's like no cameras can come in. It was basically where cameras were always rolling, and always talking about like something very important things that affect the national okay, it's very something very important that affects just everyday life to people in Korea. So it's like it's a parliament, and it's just like in America where we can sit from our TV, watch a certain channel, and we can just see where the politicians like make their rules, or like set presidents or whatever, or they try to veto someone out that did something wrong. It's like one of those type of board. It's like a giant boardroom, just political version of it, right? That's what Korea has. So she went there. She was so rude to the new CEO that took over Min Hee-jin's place. Like, it wasn't even funny. And then also she claimed earlier that no one knew that she was going, which that part was true. Well, no, it's a lie, because then I'll get into what really happened later on, because then another expose came out. But anyways, so she tried to say that, oh, no one knew, I came on my own, I prepared by myself, and like she was saying all that type of stuff in like one of her phoning apps, which is funny. If you don't know what phoning is a Korean app for NewJeans, and that's where NewJeans goes on and like interacts with their bunnies, which bunnies is their fan base. Anyways, it's their fan base. It's funny because like if you know Hybe and their app, they have Weverse, which literally has all of the Hybe artists on that site, on that app. So basically it's like they have 17 BTS. So Seraphim, Alit, okay, hold on. 17 Alit, BTS, and hyphen, TXT, they have Twist, TWS, they have Wavy's not their company, but they're still under. But they have, you get my point. They have the couple, well, not only their artists, but other artists from different companies on there as well, where fans could come and like connect with them or see what they're doing or connect with other fans on that fan base. Now, mind you, they do have their own thing on there. NewJeans has their own little fan base thing on Weverse, right? But they don't use it because Min Hee-jin said she didn't want to use it, and that she separated herself from the Weverse and made the phoning app, right? Which I found strange. It's like it's an app that's already created for everybody in the company, or all the subsidiaries in the company, and people who from other companies to come use it because it's easy to use and everything else. Like, let me tell you, I went to phoning and I was checking it out. I don't really like it that much. I was trying to figure out, like, wait, where do I go? And everything, to unlock most things, you have to pay for it. I think, and it's expensive. It's not cheap either. either. Like I looked at it, I was like, whoa. Like even like literally like 17s is way cheaper. BTS's thing is a little bit, I think a little bit more cheap, a little cheaper too as well. I'm not too sure. I have to look at BTS ones. But for like their fan boxes and to see like um just their general chat, it's free for Redverse. But if you go to phoning, it's not free. You have to pay a certain amount in order to unlock like their conversations they have either between each other or with the fans, you know? And I was like, what? I was like, that's not good for fans if you want them to actually interact with you. You have to. It was basically like a payola thing. When you look at it, it's like payola. And like, I was reading comments about it. Like, it's funny. They for a group that has this app, there's only like 4,000, like about 4,000 users on their phoning app. And I found it strange. I'm like, if they have a big fan base, shouldn't it be like more users on the phoning app than what's shown? I was like, because I like because I looked at their like Instagram account. Like their Instagram account has like I think a couple million people following them, if I remember correctly, or tens of millions or a couple million followers on Instagram. And when you look at their phoning app, it's only like literally less than 4,000 people on that app. And I thought the numbers were strange because it's like I thought they had more like a fan base. I don't know. I'm just throwing out there. I was looking. I was being nosy. I was being nosy, but literally that's what I saw. So that's what I saw from the fans and everything. Okay, so that place, and so she said that she said on phoning the app that she was using, as I said before. Um, yeah, she said that, and then let me just continue. So she went to National Assembly and she was just rude to. Um, honestly, I forgot the new CEO's name, so forgive me. I forgot. But she seemed really nice. She seemed like very put together. She seemed like very um professional. She's professional. Like how a CEO is supposed to be in the midst of like of any type of dispute with like anybody. You have to be calm, present facts, like demure, which she was. I can't say she wasn't, she was. Um but Honey on the hand was more like mean girl. She had mean girl vibes where it's like, those mean girls I'm talking about in school, or if you're still in school, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not in school, then you remember back in your high school days what those type of girls were. Like the ones you want to hit so bad, or the ones that pretend to be this victim when they're actually not, and they're like they're the ones that actually had instigated the fire, instigated the situation, but go around and pretend like, oh, that's I'm sorry. Or okay, that's one version, or it's like, oh, I can't believe they did this to me. I didn't know. Like, oh my god. Like that's the faces she was making at the National Assembly. Not to, like, well, that's the one she was doing at the live. She was like, well, she wasn't making no cry face. I'm just being dramatic on that part. But still, it was giving that vibe during the 9/11 live they did. And then when she went to National Assembly, it was more like the opposite. It was more like mean girl vibes, like that type, like you did me wrong. Now it's my turn to like side eye you, give you like the dirty look type personality. That's what it was. I was like, when I thought I was like, I met girls like you, and I want to beat up girls like you in school. If you know what I'm doing, if you don't know what I'm doing, I'm just basically hitting my makeup brush against my desk. It's dirty. Anyways, But yeah, that's the vibe I got from that National Assembly. It didn't, and it wasn't a good look on Hanny. It wasn't. And when they asked her about the situation, she brought up what they were. It was about what I said about the video, about what happened in the video, and how Hanny said that this happened, but it didn't show up in the whole video, and how like the CCTV video is deleted after 30 days. Independent said she can't really give the dates of what actually happened. It's very hard to find that footage ever again. You get me? So it's gonna be hard. So that happened, and then she was there, but she kept like saying, "Oh, they're lying to me. I had to record." She said she had to record the conversation in order to understand what they were saying. But she also made claims saying that, "Oh, I usually understand Korean very well. Like I can understand like my group mates or like the staff, but when at the National Assembly they're asking these questions, she's like." They're like, oh, they were trying to get her to say something in order to get her to say things that will work in her favor. But she was missing the points a couple of times. Like, for instance, one of the guys, I'm going to say one of the guys in Parliament, because that's not Parliament, it's something else. At the National Assembly, they're asking her, like, oh, what was the question? I can't do verbatim, but I can do basic question. They're asking her like, oh, so do you take, oh my God, what was the question? It's a simple question that she couldn't answer. Basically, they're asking her if she took, orders from anyone up higher than her from Hybe or Adore or whatever. No, they said Hybe. And she couldn't answer that question technically because she doesn't take orders from them. If anything, she just has to follow a schedule that's been given to her from Adore, but she doesn't really take orders. It's just the schedule is given to her. She just follows it. Pretty much it. But there's no really orders. Not direct orders. They're just like, here's your schedule. It's part of your contract. That's it. But they couldn't help her because later on. It came out that since she wasn't literally because it was basically labor administration's department that they were going through to get her to help win her case. Because technically, artists in Korea, or if you in America, they don't fall under Labor Act's law because they're not laborers. Because they don't work, they don't have a salary job, basically. Like, I work in a salary job, so I can go to the labor administration and be like, hey, I feel such and such way, or such and such happened here. I don't feel safe here. I need to leave, and like whatever. I can do that because I work 9 to 5. I work a salary job, and I get paid by the hour, bi-weekly. That's how it works. But like, it's different for celebrities because they don't get paid by the hour. They get paid in a sum for what they have done for the project that they did that day or in the period of that time. So like, for instance, actors, they get paid the sum just to be in the movie, and that's the money you have to work for. Money you get. I don't know if you get it before they start acting before the project, or they get it after the project. That's something I don't understand. But they get a large sum, and that's pretty much it. The same things that happen, I think it can apply to singers as well, is that they don't get the hourly check. They get a sum, and that's it. They get a sum amount given to them after the project is over, and depending on how much they earned from the project, is how much they get back. It's a reflection of how much they get back, basically. That's how it works. If I'm getting it correctly, that's how it works when it comes to like singers and celebrities. If not, I will do. If not, you can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But I think that's what it typically kind of is like. They don't work by hour; they work by sums. So they get a sum of from each project they do. something along those lines. So they can't be considered laborers. But what they were trying to do is get her to say, yeah, you're a laborer. That's why we can help you. She's not a laborer. They can't help her. But though after this, they were discussing, National Assembly in Korea was trying to discuss like a new law for situations like that. Not particularly hannies, but something along the lines of mistreated or actually bullied as artists in that community, right? So that's what that was supposed to be about, right? Okay, so that's what happened in National Assembly. That's what that thing. Yes, that's part of what happened. And then after that, I think a couple weeks later, NewJeans again was also in the news one more time, but this time it was because they decided to terminate their contract with Adore. Though it wasn't official, they wasn't officially, though they didn't officially file a lawsuit for that to didn't file. I can't talk right now. They didn't file a lawsuit to terminate their contract. They just what they do? They sent a registered letter to Adore. Though, mind you, they didn't send it right away. They sent that shit to the media first and foremost to let it be known that, oh yeah, here's our 14-day notice that we have wrote to Adore, basically saying that with a list of demands. I think that was like either 20, I don't know, because Adore had written their own statement afterwards with a list of like 22, I think it's a 22 page, is it 22 pages? It's like 22 pages, or like to basically combat each and every one of their demands that they put on that on their own paper for termination, right? So in this termination letter, they basically said, hold on, let me find the termination paper. Okay, here it is. Okay, here is basically what does it say? This is from reinstatement of NewJeans to official apology. List of NewJeans reported ultimatum to Adore revealed. Okay, so this is what was revealed that they had. Okay, so November 13th, they sent a demand out to Plus Media, right? I'm not getting it right. November 14th, 2024 is Plus News reported details on the NewJeans letter to Adore and Hybe. Sent on November... Okay, so it was sent on November 13th, reported by Plus News, so I was right on that part, demanding contract termination if these issues weren't addressed. According to Is Plus News, the content including suing individuals who violated the group's directive and providing the group with an audit report on the same. It also included demanding an apology from Hybe manager who allegedly told another group to ignore Honey. See, that's another one, right? Now it continues. Significantly, they demanded reinstating MHJ as Adore CEO again, and taking charge of the management. Like, because remember I said MHJ was taking charge, was also CEO and was managing them at the same time. Even though, yes, I know they were only that whole group in the whole company, but still, like, she didn't have to manage them. Okay, here's a quote. Let CEO Min Hee-jin take charge of Adore's management and NewJeans production like before. Return Adore to the time when NewJeans was happy and joyful after signing an exclusive contract until March 2024. Okay. Also, here's the rest of it. The girl group issued a 14-day ultimatum to both Adore and Hybe. Here is a full list of demands. Now, this is demands. 1. Determine exactly who made the decision and issued the directive to discard NewJeans. Adore's only artists as well as who violated the directive. If any breach of trust or other unlawful activity is found throughout the process, pursue civil and criminal action against the offending parties. Okay. Provide NewJeans with an audit report and personal action report pertaining to each of these issues. The management who instructed Hani to ignore should formally apologize. She shouldn't. Remove any images, movies, and other content that was utilized without permission. That's not gonna happen because you signed a contract that you can, that will release that. Okay, let me read this. In any contract, when it comes to entertainment, or even when it comes to videos and like training, those will automatically go out to to people because you sign a contract. It's like when you sign a contract when you're like on YouTube, not on YouTube. Like let's say you're going somewhere and like, oh well, you're gonna possibly be on video. Would you like to sign this as a disclosure? Like you don't, you know. So you either sign yay or nay depending on who you are, right? Like, oh wait, no, I'm fine. I don't be in video. That's cool. I don't sign nothing. That's like, okay, that's fine. But when you're in music business, it's like it's second nature to have like that going. It's second nature to have automatically have those videos out because it's like part of who you are. NewJeans and not NewJeans. 17 had plenty of pre-debut videos. BTS had plenty of pre-debut videos and pictures for everyone to see. Like why are they any different? Like remove any images, movies, and other content that was utilized without permission? No, because like basically that's basically like saying like, oh, 17 didn't want all their stuff up, but this is all the pre-debut stuff. Like that was your pre-debut stuff. It was allowed to go out and to people to see because they wanted to see what you like before you debut to versus now, because it gives you the balance and difference of like, oh, you worked so hard and look how far you came. You know, that's the reason, like that's how I see it. And I think that's what people say, like, oh my god, like when I see 17's like old stuff, like when they were younger, it's like, oh my god, they were such babies, and now look at them now. They're like literally, if you look at them now, they're like adult. They're like, oh, they got like either grown out of baby skin, or they look more like babyish, or like they got a awkward face, or like more, you know, or even BTS, like they had like awkward faces too. It's like, oh my god, like, oh, you know, like look at them now, like. They're adorable. I mean, they were adorable then, but now they're like, oh, they grew into their looks. Like, it's like, oh yeah, he grew into his looks. Like, definitely. That's the point of pre-debut. It's like, see your struggle before, or what you look like before, to like, oh my god, like they look gorgeous, or like we always knew they'd be gorgeous. Like, but like at them now, they're even more gorgeous. Basically, type of thing. That's how I see it. You know, determine the harm that the album push caused NewJeans and devise remedies. Okay, for that one, it's because an article that came out, I think, sometime this year, and it was about an article that this guy wrote. He said basically saying that, oh well, NewJeans sold 1 million albums in Japan. Not true. They didn't sell 1 million albums in Japan. They only sold, I think, 30 to 40,000 albums in total in Japan. And all Hybe did, all the Hybe PR crew told him did was like, can you not like spread false information about album pushing? Because basically that's what it was, an album push. Like they just wanted to push a lie, but it wasn't true. They're like, no, that's not accurate. We only sold about 30,000 to 40,000 in that country. Like, we sold 1 million globally. Yeah, you can say that, but to say we sold that much in that one country, no, that's really pushing. That's pushing it. But yeah, if you even go on to, like, let's say, if you go to, and it was like, Oricon Chart was basically, if you go to Oricon Chart, was like, I'm not gonna show you, but it even says around that in when that happened, they only sold about 30 to 40,000 albums. It wasn't that much of a sale. Like they didn't make that much profit, and then also they lost profit in the Tokyo Dome concerts they had out there because it's a dome. It's a large place to perform at, and like also you had a headliner that performed on stage with you that you had to give money to, that was very popular in Japan to get to come bring your audience as well, from what I understand, right? So that also, that money went to them as well. So NewJeans didn't get that much back in revenue. Also, when it comes to the concerts, address the conflict with Dolphin kidnapping team director Shin Wook-suk and resulting of lost previous. See, now that for that one, it's they didn't do nothing. All they told him to get rid of one video. That's it, one video. But he went on like a tangent and was like, okay, you don't want my work? Okay, fine. He took everything off. Though he didn't delete everything. All he did was put all the videos on private. All of them. And he made a huge issue out of nothing. When all they're talking about was one video that had to do with their brand. One of the brands they were working with. And the brand at the time was, I think it was Apple. Apple didn't like a particular part of his video. And they didn't want nothing associated with that part of the video. So they had asked Hybe to do something about that video. That's all that was, really. And he just blew up about it, like just went batshit crazy, made this ridiculous claim, and then Hybe had to come out and say, like, no, that's not what happened. Or Adore had to come out and was like, that's not what happened. We were asked by one of our sponsors, one of the girls' sponsors, to don't have that video up at all because it makes it look bad. That's all they said. And they just went to him like, hey, can you do something about this video? Because we're not trying to pressure you, but we're getting pressured from our side, from one of people we're dealing with, to get rid of this video or even get it taken down. Is there anything you do? And he just went, like I said, he just went on a tangent. Preserve the distinctive color and design of NewJeans. I don't think NewJeans has a distinctive design or color. I don't think they do. Why is that making noise? What are you? Okay. I was like, what are you? Hey, those things. Okay. And this one, okay, Adore reveals receiving the certified letter of demand from NewJeans and issues this girl a statement. So now, this was their demands and statements. Now here is, this is the girl statement on the top. Here's Adore issuing their statement. Now, Adore reveals receiving their certified letter of demands from NewJeans and issues a statement. Okay, the girl group's certified letter was signed by all 5 members: Minjin, Daniela, Hani, Hayden, and Heian. This comes in the wake of the ongoing feud between Hybe and MHJ. Remember, the hype was between MHJ. The feud was between Hybe and MHJ, not NewJeans, not MHJ, NewJeans, and Hybe. It was mostly those two, just those two, right? When the parent company accused her of a breach of contract in April 2024, which, honestly, if you look at it now, she did breach the contract really bad, and she needs to either own up to it, but she's not gonna own to it. If she's not gonna own up to it at all, if you seem like she's not. Okay, and this one, New MHJ reportedly conspired to take over Adore and crash Hybe stocks in the market, which technically, if you look at it today, it's working. Her plan's working still. Even if she's like pretend like, oh no, I'm not doing. Like, no, you are doing something. Like you're, yeah. Following this in August 2024, she was replaced as label CEO and was succeeded by Kim Joo-young. Okay, that's the new, the CEO that took over her position, Kim Joo-young. But however, and that's the one that Honey was being such like a catty little thing to, she's like very like side-eyeing, evil-eyeing, mean-mugging, like basically what she was doing at the National Assembly to that lady. But it's sad that she was being like that way. And she hasn't even known that lady for that long to be like, honestly, the girls have not known that lady for that long to see what she can do. They just automatically crossed her out and like, yeah, you can't do anything for us. They didn't give her time. They give her like, I guess then you give her like a 6 months probation. They didn't give her that. They give her less than that. They give her like 2 weeks. Less than 2 weeks. Okay. Okay. Okay, a day later, they announced receiving the letter and said that they had been reviewing the letter's contents on November 14th, 2024. Adore announced that they would do their best to resolve this wisely. So they had. Remember, I said they had. Remember, I had said that they didn't send the letter literally until November 13th, and they got it the day later, so November 14th, right? So right after, day after, they got it, and then they said they would try their best. So that's the list of demands of what they had, right? Now, let's get into the where they, after they got the letter of where certified NewJeans terminated contract. Termination contract. And this is, let's see. Let's see which. There's only certain. There's only certain, like, press things I would read because they're. Okay. Korean Times. Okay, so. Okay, here's the Korean Herald, right? NewJeans has unilaterally terminated its exclusive contract with Adore, a subsidiary of Hybe, and announces plans to embark on a new journey outside the company during a press conference held in Seoul on Thursday. Our contract would be This is NewJeans saying this. Our contract will be terminated as of midnight today. It was Adore and Hybe that violated the contract, so we are ending it. Moreover, this is another thing she says. Moreover, we have never breached our exclusive contract and has always given our best efforts. There is no reason for us to pay any penalties. What? And it is Adore and Hybe who have violated the terms, and the responsibility lies with them. This is what she says. And then here comes Honey elaborated on their decision, citing Adore's lack of will and ability to fulfill its fundamental duty of protecting NewJeans. Okay, here's another thing she said. Staying here feels like a waste of time and a source of continued mental anguish. Most importantly, there is nothing for us to gain professionally, which is why all five of us has no reason to remain. Honey said, "Wait, what? I didn't know that part. Wait, there's nothing for you to gain professionally, bruh. What do you mean nothing to gain professionally? I'm not go there." Hyun hinted at potential challenges regarding the continued use of the group name NewJeans, but expressed their determination to fight for its trademark rights. The essence of NewJeans will always be with us, and we will not give away our name easily. They have no choice but to give it away if they leave the company. It represents everything from the beginning of our journey to where we are now, Hyun said. The group also reassured fans and business partners that they would honor their planned schedules and advertising commitments. Okay. We want to tell our advertisers that this is what Danielle says. We want to tell our advertisers they don't have to worry. We are committed to ensuring that our contract termination with Adore does not negatively impact others. NewJeans also expressed a desire to collaborate with former Adore CEO in the future. Oh my lord. That's been their goal anyways, so let's continue. We haven't spoken to Min about our contract termination with Adore, but we would certainly love to work with her again, if possible. Okay, the termination comes just 8 days after Min resigned from her position as internal director at Adore, reinstating Min as CEO, a role she removed from in August. Was one of several demands made by the group. NewJeans has warned that failure to meet these demands by Thursday would constitute a breach of their contract, leading to its termination. For one thing, demanding the return of a CEO, they can't do that. They're not in power or have enough pull to do anything like that. They've only been a group and made money thus far for only 3 years. Professionally been a group for that much longer. They don't have that type of revenue or pull to be like, hey, we want her back. Plus, if she did something, if Minijin did something that she's currently getting sued for. They just barely made the court case for that recently. Like, what can they do? They can't do shit. They can't do nothing. Because why would they want her back when she's been nothing but a headache to them? Like, honestly. Okay, that from the last one. They want an apology. However, Adore failed to meet the group's demands on Wednesday, one day before deadline. Technically, no, because literally, they made Adore made a statement. Adore literally sent a an email to them 2 hours before their scheduled before the scheduled I can't speak, before this scheduled press conference right here, stating that they everything they listed in their demands, they did like a 22-page paragraph, 22-page response to each of their demands, right? Literally they did that, and yet they're like, oh, it doesn't matter, they didn't, but they still responded to your demands. It's just you just refuse. Like, okay, I think it's even Honey, I think one of the girls were saying like, oh, it doesn't matter if they responded, like, it doesn't matter, like, we're just gonna leave anyways. Basically what she said, not exactly for, I don't, like I said, I don't do verbatim, but it's like it around about what she said, like, okay, yeah, they sent it to us, but we're not gonna read it, we don't care. That type of attitude they had. It's like, because they can't say they didn't send it. Like, no, they sent it before midnight. They sent it like 6 o'clock that day. So for them to say, oh, we never got a response and we don't care, like, you got a response. It came around 7 before your, it came around 6 o'clock before your, it's 6 or 7 o'clock before their like announced departure, where they supposedly depart, you know. But they can't do that because literally it's like goes against everything. And then, okay, here's another one. Okay, here's how legal experts assess NewJeans' prospects regarding battle with Adore. Okay, contract termination remains uncertain. Large financial penalties could be reduced. Even with a win, group may lose name. See, that's what one says by KT Times. Girl group NewJeans shocked the K-pop world while holding a late-night press conference on Thursday to unilaterally announce the termination of the exclusive contract with its agency Adore. But though it's unilaterally announced, they didn't really file any injunctions. They didn't file a claim. They didn't file to actually sue to not like to terminate their contract. They didn't do any of that. They just said like, oh, we gave it to you already. We don't owe you any money. We just terminate our contract. That's it. And walk away. So basically that's it. They didn't really file a lawsuit or anything. They just like, oh, we're just terminating our contract. That's it. But we're still gonna have our brand deals and like all this stuff and like all that. It's fine. Just we're doing individual. We're separate from Adore and Hybe now. We don't do that. It doesn't work that way. Okay, so and then they say like, we have not violated the contract and exclusive agreements remains until okay, Adore subliminal Hybe countered with the firm. Okay, this is Adore saying like Adore saying that they have not violated the contract and the exclusive agreement remains valid into July 31st, 2029, right? As stated in the original documents. The NewJeans says that Adore breached NewJeans keeps saying that Adore breached the contract. Nothing's been breached. Because if anything, Adore's still promoting NewJeans as a full group and everything, and they're promoting all the accolades and like everything. So in order for Adore to be in breach of the contract, if they didn't fulfill their side of the contract, but they're fulfilling still all that side of the contract. Now, days after this happened, Adore actually is filing a case against NewJeans, but it's not a breach of contract case. It's more like to determine the validity of their contract, meaning they're suing to show them that no, you guys are still contracted with us until November, until 2025. You can't leave and do whatever you want. You have to still follow the contract. That's not how it works, basically. Anyways, that's not how it works. And they keep saying like no, we do. The NewJeans keep saying like no. And also, it's been reported that Adore has called these girls so many times already. Like a couple times they had called him and no answer. They're not picking up anything. Okay, here's some things. Okay, here's something what legal experts generally agree that artists can notify their agencies of terminating contracts even if it's uncommon. Lee Hyung-gun, an attorney at Seoul Law Office, said, while it's rare for the weaker party in a hierarchy region to initiate termination, there is a legal basis that limits this right to the stronger party. Rong Jong, an attorney at Jonglon firm, said that the termination takes effect from the moment it's notified and applies retroactively depending on the lawsuit outcome. See, lawsuit's outcome. It's not a lawsuit. They just what they do? See, they can notify the agency of the contract termination even if it's uncommon. So they notify them, but I thought hold on. Someone just read this. Okay. So they can't. Okay, so the contract can be terminated under certain circumstances. Like this one says, exclusive contracts between agencies and artists can only be terminated under specific circumstances. Lawyer Rowe says if the relationship of trust is irreparably broken, the contract can be terminated regardless who is at fault. Based on the current information, there is a strong case for termination, but on whose side though? He said this language. Okay, so this is from somebody though, but this is from one lawyer. But other lawyers say this is challenging though. Because okay, Kang Rong, a notorious appeal law firm, said these 6 demands NewJeans made, including the reinstatement of former Min Hee-jin and apology of disrespecting member Hani, may not constitute sufficient grounds for termination unless evidence clearly establishes Adore's responsibility. See, that's another thing. This guy's saying for that part, for this part, it's a reason enough to say they breach. But that's only one statement. It's not enough to like say a lot. And other law firms are saying like no, it's not enough. They have to have these demands are saying it's not. It can't go their way. And it's not constitute for sufficient grounds for termination unless, like it says, they have to state evidence. And they're not doing that. They can't leave. Their contract's still valid. And if anything, if they do break their contract and leave, they can use. Okay, if you're breaking your contract with a company, that means you can't use any of their resources somewhere. That means your name's gone. You can't live in those buildings no more. The apartment buildings that they're paying for you. So that means your name in the group's gone. You're can't do any more of your can't go to any of your schedules because it's halted. Because when you terminate a contract, it's halted. It means you can't do schedules, you can't do this, you can't do that. You can't even go on tour anymore. Like you're losing money. So when you terminate, you can't do any of that type of stuff. You're basically put in like how one said, you're gonna be put in a dungeon. Okay, and here's one. Okay, NewJeans asserts that it owes no penalties due to Adore's alleged breaches. Legal experts agree this depends on proving Adore's culpability. So they say, this is what legal experts say. They say that NewJeans says they don't owe nothing, but technically they would depending on how they could prove, if they prove that a door breached, but a door hasn't breached. Even if NewJeans is found liable for breaking the contract, the reported penalty range of $400 million to $601 may not be fully enforced, meaning they can get a little break in that money, but it's not that. I don't think it's gonna be that by that much, because that's still 300 to 450. That's still a lot of money they pay. They have, that's still money. And to Laura said, courts often reduce penalties deemed excessive. Okay, so it is excessive, but this is the amount they paid in. They paid into them, right? So as for the group name, it's likely belongs to Adore unless the contract specifies otherwise. Laura Coe said even if NewJeans wins the case, it would find difficult to secure trademark rights unless a specific clause grants them ownership. Mind you, I'm not good at speaking, so leave me alone. How Adore might respond? What could this mean to K-pop? Adore has refrained from commenting on its next steps. Industry insiders speculate that Adore may pursue a confirmation lawsuit regarding the contract or seek injunctions to prohibit NewJeans from engaging in independent activities. See, that is possible. Since they're saying that since NewJeans is saying they're terminating their lawsuit, terminating their contract, that is a possibility of what can happen to them until they get everything sorted, right? Because when you're in a case, you can't continue actively working for that company, right? If you terminated your contract, that means everything that they scheduled for you goes away. Where you're living at goes away. Unless you're paying that out of pocket, you can't keep that. Especially if you're not paying it out of pocket, that goes away. Given previous allegations of Adore's power struggle with former CEO Min, there is speculation that Adore will focus on proving her involvement in NewJeans' decision. See, NewJeans is getting themselves into something they don't need to put themselves into. At the end of the day. And then, aware of these allegations, NewJeans clarified during press conference, we have not discussed the contract termination with former NewJeans CEO. But if you actually watch their press conference and how they were acting and like how they were like shifting from watching this and okay, so at their press if you've seen the press conference, they have like the laptops or iPads in front of them, right? Just like standing in front of each one of them, like all five of them. And they're mostly looking down at the things, watching what comes up on the screen, right? Meaning that they're being fed like things to say to the reporters asking these questions. Meaning that they're just reading from a script that was given to them, or that was going that was reading from them as the questions were coming in, and it was typing out the answers for them. That's why there were some pauses between the answers, the questions, and there's pauses between the questions and when the answers are coming back to them. You know, as people always say, like, yeah, it's definitely scripted. Like they think they know, for people, a lot of speculations like from people who outside in watching the whole thing, saying like, yeah, it's scripted. Definitely Min Hyunjin had a hand in like the script and everything, because like the way it was going, the flow of it was too like, it wasn't natural. It wasn't a natural flow. It was like more of like a planned thing. You know, as you can tell, if you watch it, you can tell from it. Okay, we do not discuss. They say they didn't discuss the termination contract with former CMN. I highly doubt that's true, because something came out later on with Dispatch coming forward and saying that she did have a hand in Hani's case with the Korean National Assembly. That came out too, where Hani actually went to go see her with a certified letter, certified documents for the National Assembly, and they were sitting and not only was Minnie Jin was with her, but Minnie Jin's lawyer too. So imagine that. Sitting 4 hours in Minnie Jin's office with her lawyer. What were you talking about for 4 hours straight? And with the lawyer present at that. Mm-hmm. It's a bit suspicious to me. It does look suspicious. I'm not gonna say anything. But yeah. Legos actress. See, it can lead to tampering lawsuit. If any evidence is found that Min Hee Jin had direct involvement in the termination contract with that NewJeans filed, though they filed it, but they didn't really do a lawsuit. They just did a filation of they just filed, but not an actual. Because usually you have to file a lawsuit to terminate it. I think that's how it really works. You have to file a lawsuit to terminate what you the that thing, right? The contract. Wait, okay. So where it says conversely, Lurico highlighted that even without direct evidence, the sequence of events, Min's resignation from Adora and Eugene's contract termination could negatively influence the case. Such development could be reviewed unfavorably in court, even if tampering cannot be definitely proven, Cove said. The industry remains cautious, fearing NewJeans and utilize contract termination claim, and it could set a precedent for others to exploit and pursue independent careers. Now, I was reading, I heard something about this part, which I feel like it's true. Like, in Kipa, it's Korean Entertainment Producer Association. Now, Kipa is basically the union for. Yeah, it's basically a union. I should say a union in Korea, in America. I mean, in Korea. It's for it's for artists, producers, and like those who are in the circle of like music industries, right? So in this thing, they're talking about how NewJeans doing this. It's not a good look for everybody, because if everyone can do this, it would the music industry in Korea won't last long. It won't, because it takes time to formulate a contract with people or what's with an artist, because a contract is basically a form of trust between you, the shareholders, and the company who is managing you and helping you build your brand if you're going to become an artist and actor, singer, whatever you want in any industry in the world. So basically you're getting the shareholders, and the ones are pitting the shareholders who are buying into the company are the ones funding for your success, right? So your success depends on how hard you work, your fan base, your so fan base, your talent, your personality, everything, and based on everything, that's part of your popularity, right? Like for instance, BTS didn't have that much of funding when they first started, right? Versus how much they have now. They were literally in they started out in this, well, Big K. Big K at the time wasn't a decent sized company. It was still small. So imagine they're in a small company, they're saying people are talking crap constantly about them, saying like, oh, this type of stuff. But yet they're performing their ass off. They're making themselves marketable to everyone else and like all this type of jazz, right? And when people pick up on like what they're laying down, they start to invest in them, and the more investments they get, the more money they get, the more they can focus on becoming better in their craft. Because everything you do, especially in the music industry, is you have to focus on your craft in order to become better each and every year. Each, or not even year, like each project you do, each album is better than the last one, right? Each song is better than the last song you produced last, right? That's the point of having, of growing and getting investments, because they believe in you, right? They believe in what you're doing. These investments, they do. So when you're doing these when they're doing these contracts, if I remember correctly, the investments are very precious into these contracts, because if they're not up to standard, I understand, right? You're not up to standard. But I guess they work very hard making sure that these contracts are fair as possible. Though, depending on the company, I will say that depending on the company, they could be fair or just shit. Like Essen, not Essen probably has the bad contracts. Yes. Cube has terrible contracts with their artists. Um, I think AOA was part of Cube. So there's Star it says Star Entertainment. I don't think they're around that. Starship Entertainment, if I understand, if I remember correctly, they didn't have good contracts with their artists as well as either. So it depends on the contract, depends on who is making the contracts and what the contributions are, what you have to contribute within the contract, what they are, what, okay, so it's artist, okay, so what the artist has to contribute, what the company has to contribute, and what the investors are contributing to you in order to get that and get you to from the ground to go up to where you want to be. That's basically how it works. I'm not saying it's, I'm just, that's not, I'm not saying that's how it really works, but I'm just saying how, I mean, thinking of how it works, you know? Because, and what I've heard and read, it's how it works. It always depends on the investments. And now, if you have an investment that was willing to run away from their obligations, then that's not gonna look, like, that doesn't look good on a company. It really doesn't. That's why when NewJeans said they're leaving, it didn't look good on Hybe, because technically, if you look at everything, Hybe didn't do nothing, Adore didn't do nothing to them. They're just leaving just to leave, all because they saw a bigger, supposedly a bigger pay in another company, and that's still not right. It really isn't right. So take it how you take it, however you see it, because honestly, it's not looking good for NewJeans. Because if Adore responded to their demands or listed the demands, like, they can't do them in the seat. They're not gonna hire back Minijin. That's out. They're not gonna make another person from another company come and apologize to you. That's out. Right? They're not gonna do that. Okay, so they had asked, but the other company refused. You can't force her. That's another company. Now, if it's someone in Adore that did that, then they have to, like, go apologize. You have to do that. But it's not from the same company. It's a different company. I can't do anything about that. What? Nothing. I can't do nothing. And that's, again, not Adore's fault. They're trying their best. You know? And they didn't say they weren't going to support NewJeans. NewJeans said they weren't going to support. NewJeans said Adore wasn't going to support them. But yeah, they are out there supporting them. And everything. So I don't get why they keep saying that we're not going to support. They have plenty of support. Oh, that reminds me. Belief Lab a statement came out a while ago. Oh, yeah, a while ago. And in their statement, they mentioned that NewJeans has their own beauty salon. Imagine that. Imagine that. Now, remember when Henny said that she was getting her hair done or waiting to get her hair done and she ran into them? If NewJeans if NewJeans has her own, right? Why did Honey go down to the public one where you have to make your appointments when NewJeans have their own private one that they can go to anytime they want without an appointment, get their shit done, and leave? Why was she there? Why was she there? Like, honestly, she waited there the whole, like, okay, if she had an appointment for her hair done, and if that group came in, or that, whoever that idol was that came in and left, or trainee, whatever they were, supposedly, so like it's allegedly came in and all that was said. Why was Hanny even in that part of the salon area or the beauty rooms? Because they don't their room. I still don't know where the room's at. But if that's the case, what is she doing waiting there? Just a food for thought. Food for thought. That's all I'm gonna say. Oh, I said a lot, but you probably said more than I planned to. Longer video than I planned to do. I might have to break this up in like 15 seconds. I might have to break this up a lot. Okay. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.